I already captured in one sentence what I try to say. What I try to say is that I would like to see the divide between researchers and practitioners be bridged. I think everybody's a knowledge constructor, and I think if academic researchers would understand that about practitioners, it would be more easy to build bridges and to produce then research that is more relevant and engage interventions that are more informed by, impact, how people experience the intervention and stuff like that. I think that a lot of the divisions between academics on the one hand and practitioners on the other hand are artificial and unnecessary. So that is my little point. And yours?
Actually, I'm Ahmed Isa from Sudan. I'm the chairman of the Darek Digital City Organization. It is a non-governmental organization. And we are working as a group in telecenter.org movement. And this is a new developed movement because we are more than 5,000 individual and organization working together, sharing knowledge, experience, and best practices on bridging the digital divide, on using ICT as a tool for bridging this digital divide. On my paper I submitted, I talk about the big digital gap in the developing country, what are the causes, and how we use ICT as a tool to bridge this digital divide.
Thank you.
Okay. My name is Khalid Faris. I work in a private company in Qatar. And, I have an interest in the field of ICT for development. I just completed my master at the Imperial College of the University of London, Imperial, but before Imperial separate from in the ICT for development. I'm trying to develop a research agenda for the Arab countries, by which we focus on, the complexity of the broad aspects of the ICT for development. Because when we talk about ICT as a tool, we maybe narrow the definition of the ICT for development. We maybe miss a lot of things. When we talk about ICT as an application, also we miss something else. So I'm trying to focus on how to develop a framework that can carry with it the complexities of the ICT. And this touches across multiple areas, including macro and micro aspects of the society and the economy. I'm just starting. Maybe I've just spent 1 full year in the research. I'm trying to go to the second phase by trying to inspect this model, which I proposed. Maybe you already done this one. That was part of the introduction I have done. And my aim is to come up with, analytical tools and means of understanding and pursuing knowledge-based societies and information societies for the Arab world. So that's
You come from. Thank you. Matt?
Well, I didn't actually make a contribution to the, but perhaps I can say 2 sentences about why I'm here. My name is Matthew Smith, and I work at the International Development Research Center, where we fund ICT4D researchers in developing contexts working on pressing development problems. And even though we say we fund researchers, really we fund research/practitioners. The divide between the two is very blurry for us, almost non-existent, because we always insist that something comes of this research. It's not just research for research's sake. So for me, I think how to bridge, because we deal with that all the time. We deal with practitioners who struggle with how to couch their work theoretically, and we work with academics who struggle with how to make an actual, or work to make an impact on the ground. So that's my interest.
Thank you, Matt. Pam?
Right, well, I responded very much to your paper, particularly the bit about, hooray for my thingy, because...
Which is actually Michael's best phrase, but I totally responded to it,
Yeah, and I work with John Dada in Nigeria, and we actually are in communication every week, from the UK to Nigeria for an hour having team meetings by Skype. We've been doing this for years, right? So how come that, as I see it, this kind of dialogue isn't going on between, you know, the academic community and practitioners? And I can understand that it's difficult for the academics to find those of us who are on the ground because we're not as visible as they are. But my great hope and desire of this conference really is that somehow the way that we're using ICT to communicate in the projects that I do, how we can make that more normal for people in academia. So I suppose my big concern is that we have sort of, I'm looking at ICT and development, you know, and the role of ICT in enabling development, and just the whole thing about there is no longer any reason for top-down stuff, because if we have the desire to listen to each other, the tools are there. So it's just a question of desire. Do people really mean it when they say they want to participate, when they say they want to listen? Because we can now. We do it.
Yes.
Reminders for people taking HIV treatment. It was published in the last.
Reminders of what?
Reminders to encourage people to take their HIV medication.
Yes.
And that showed a clinical impact on the viral load.
Yes.
Another paper came out for in
That's very
malaria
interesting.
on looking at drug supply for malaria medications using another phone-based system. I think Vodafone was involved in that. And so these are starting to actually measure, and I think Stockhouse is another example where there was really a defined endpoint, which was looking at policy changes to improve drug supply management and reduce stockouts. And so I think those are situations where these are not just ideas; these are really tying it to a very real need on the ground. So I think that's one way that we were. Actually, my business card for is one hand it has the academic piece, but the other side is part of it now. And so when I meet you about ideas, I use it for help.
That's a good idea. That's a good technology. That's a good communication technology. I have two cards.
So the thing that Partners in Health is very specifically designed as a separate sort of, it's not part of Harvard or the Brigham and Women's Hospital, which is,
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis, yeah.
Yeah. So it's what works for whom in which context and why it works.
Yeah, but let the why be tentative.
Yeah.
In italics.
It may not be
Exactly.
Yeah.
It may not even be identifiable.
Yes.
Well, then you say that.
Yeah.
there's something missing here.
What?
And that is?
What didn't work?
Oh,
No. You're totally right.
Absolutely. And what?
We also discussed that.
Yeah.
You see why I hesitate with the why is like if we want to encourage practitioners to meet halfway and give us as researchers the data that we need to do co-writing with them, co-publishing, what they want, then we can't make it too intricate. I would already be able to do a lot with if all the projects I know of would just give me every month this data, what worked today, for whom, in what context. Because after a month of data like that, you would have a conversation with them and could develop a hypothesis together. I think we can wrap it up. Anybody else with one last point that hasn't been said?
It was an excellent conversation.
Very
I appreciate it very much, and I love to be here with you.
It was lovely.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your conference. It was nice, yeah?
Have interesting space.
Oh, thank you.